Oh, look at that. I'm small. What's going on, everybody? How are you? It's Wednesday night, and welcome to Squadron Live. I appreciate you being here as I do every week. It's always fun for me, and I'm looking forward to tonight. Uh, a couple of times in the past month or two or three, I have hinted at possibly doing away with the show and tell. And only because I don't want you guys to get, bored or tired. I don't want to get into a routine and do the same stuff every week. I try to do something different. Sometimes we end up doing the same stuff, and that's okay too. But uh, the show and tell, ever since I kind of hinted around, hey, do you guys want to keep the show and tell? And of course, everybody says, yeah. And ever since then, it's been getting larger and larger each month. And I think tonight I know I said this last month, but I think we might have the most pictures that we've had so far tonight. So it's a good thing. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys enjoy doing this. And we've got some really cool models to look at tonight. At least I think they look good. I'm sure you will too. So thank everybody for sending those in. Let me jump over here in the chat real quick and say hello to everybody before we get started. Joseph, good to see you tonight, buddy. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. Yeah, and build your way. That's true, Joseph. Hey, Ken, how are you, man? Good to see you tonight. And Jeff's with us again. Good evening, buddy. David Miller is in here with us. And let's see. Everything that Squadron has for new paints. Good deal, man. I hope you enjoy those. Hope they work out good for you. Let's see. David's in here with us tonight. Good to see you. Let's see. Good deal, David. Glad that you're glad your paint will show up this week for sure. Looking forward to seeing what you think about it. Danny, good to see you tonight, my friend. Randy from the Black Hills, good to see you. And Derek's with us tonight. And Ken, little rain tonight. Yeah, little rain. Well, we had a lot of rain last night, and it's been windy as rip over here. Last night was really windy, and today's just been really weird. And all of the sudden, oh yeah, Ken and David talked about meeting each other at the Valleycom show at the end of the month. You guys are gonna enjoy that show for sure. But anyway, we were talking about last week. It's been such nice weather. Been outside playing, or the kids have, and just enjoying some nice pre-spring like weather. And all of the sudden this afternoon, it got frigidly cold again. So I just walked out to the barn a few minutes ago to check and see what kind of paint goodies that my wife's got cooked up for us, and I about froze on the way back. Not because it is cold, but like when I went outside earlier today, it was warm. So that's what I was expecting. But you know how it goes. Wayne, good to see you tonight, buddy. Let's see. And who else is in here? Bill, good to see you tonight, buddy. You're going to fill that swear jar up dealing with that photo etch on 700 scale aircraft, man. That can get really, really, really tiny and tedious, but stick with it because the end result is going to be pretty fabulous. Rex, good to see you tonight, buddy. And Ed's with us. Ed talking about the good weather he's been having out there. Yeah, well, I hope it doesn't happen to you what's happening to us tonight, and take a complete reverse on this nice weather. Recon Models Vaughn is with us. Good to see you tonight, buddy. Michael's in here. JL out in San Francisco. Good to see you tonight. And Bill right up the road from Murfreesboro. Good to see you. Some of you guys I'm going to see next weekend, not this coming weekend, but next weekend down in Marietta at the IPMS show. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Always look forward to all these shows. What was it? 2 weeks ago, we were at the AMP show down in Atlanta, and once the show season, as I refer to it, kicks off at the beginning of the year, I just can't wait for the next one. Of course, the very first one for us in our area was Chattanooga this year, and it got canceled and rescheduled. So that's going to be it's going to be a busy June for us as far as shows, because the middle of May we'll be headed up to Camp Hill, Pennsylvania for the AMPS Nationals. And then I think about a week and a half or so, 2 weeks after that, we'll be headed up to Louisville for Wonderfest. And then a week after that, we've got our show here in Chattanooga. So it's going to be back to back to back for a few weeks. And then just a few weeks after that, we'll be headed up to Virginia for the IPMS Nationals. So all sorts of fun stuff going on this year for shows with us. TD, good to see you and Wes tonight, and Robert and Jason. Yeah, you'll be there next week. Looking forward to seeing you. The Lawn Care Novice is here. Charles and Rick Bang. Rick, I don't have any bunker stuff on its way at the moment. Sorry about that. Shoot me an email sometime, though, and let me know what you're looking for. I may have other options for you. Evie, good to see you. And Kimberly's in here tonight. She's got a model in the show and tell in a little bit. And Tom's with us, coming down from Florida. Good to see you. Lee and Mark and Fred. The Way is in here. I believe I've got a show and tell picture of your build as well. Dennis and Matt. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So Matt's talking about, man, you must have literally been on the site hitting refresh. I just posted that moments before the show started, so I could tell you guys about it. But you already saw it. So over on the website, let me get this pulled up real quick. Boom, there we go. If you go to the new arrivals for the week section, you'll see all sorts of fun stuff. First of all, the 3 guideline publications magazines for the month showed up. The Scale Aircraft Modeling and Military Modelcraft International, which those 2 usually are every month. This Fantasy Figures magazine, I think it's like every other month or something like that, but it's here. The new AFV Modeler magazine is here, and besides that, it's a whole bunch of new paint. Now, some of these paint colors you might have already seen before, but it's, restocking and doing more bottling runs has started. So, but a good portion of these are brand new for us that you haven't seen yet. Specifically, these that say image coming soon, those are the ones that I literally just walked out and my wife was done with, so I brought them back in. I haven't had a chance to take pictures of them yet, but they're here. This is the Radome Tan. Anyway, the Gerald R. Ford set, this is our first, well, it's really our second paint set. The first one was a skin tones flesh paint set, but this is the first one dedicated or specifically named for a particular model kit. In this case, the USS Gerald R. Ford, which in a plastic model kit is available from Magic Factory in 1/700 scale and now Trumpeter in 1/350th scale. Now, please note that these are our standard half-ounce bottles. So if you are building a 350 scale Ford, you probably need a little bit more than one of these. But here's the color list. As we have talked about, and ignore this, like I was literally setting all this up while the 5-minute countdown clock was going. So I copied this over from the flesh tone set. I obviously have to fix that, and this picture is obviously not correct either. But I really wanted to get this on so you guys could see what we've been talking about, what we're going to do, and what our hopeful plan and goal for paint sets is. And this is just a little taste of that, so to speak. So to build that Ford, these are the main 4 colors that you need: modern haze gray, modern deck gray, modern flight deck gray, and of course the modern hull red. And you always need some white, you always need some black for these builds. So those are the 2 colors rounding this 6 color set out. Now, for a 700 scale kit, one of each of these is going to be plenty. But for that big kit, you may need more than one of these, depending on how thick you put your stuff on. So the good thing is you can buy this set, and if you say, I need 2 or 3 or 4 bottles of red the way that I spray, you can click that and you can add however many of each individual color in addition to the 6 that you want. Now, going forward, we intend to do this same type of setup for as many model kits as we can. And this will hopefully take a lot of the guesswork out of the build and paint process for you guys. I'll give you a really good example. If you have this Gerald R. Ford kit, inside the paint scheme, the trumpeter instructions call for Tamiya's IJN gray. Last time I checked, a U.S. modern aircraft carrier does not need to be painted in World War II Japanese gray. But because the paint brands that Trumpeter uses to call out are limited to the particular paint colors that they have, I guess Trumpeter decided that was the closest gray that they could get. Now, come over here to the Squadron Scale Color side, and we are going to list exactly the specific shade of color that you need for these. Now, some kits we're going to get more in depth than others. U.S. subjects, U.S. ships will be pretty dang thorough on what exactly you need. And basically, if we have the color that's needed, we're going to try to make a set for it. So this is, step one, just gives you an idea, and we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I've got to get a picture of the correct colors. This is what our sets look like. This is the skin color set. So it comes in a little box like this, and we've been working on the labeling and all that stuff. This is a little example of what'll go on the front of that clear box. Can't really see it here, but so all of this is a work in progress, but I like to keep you guys up to date and kind of keep you in the loop, so to speak, because we're excited about this stuff, and we could just keep it all under wraps until it's all ready to go. But what's the fun in that? I like to kind of give you guys a play-by-play, if you will. So that's what we've got going on at the moment for paint. I was going to bring that up later, but since Matt mentioned it, I figured let's go ahead and chase that rabbit. So anyway, back to the chat. Good to see you tonight, Stephen. And Mark's here, and Sparky. Ricky Gates, right up the road from here. Anthony over on Facebook. Yeah, the X Plus kits, the next one that will be coming in, Anthony. Hopefully you got the Bride of Frankenstein, the last one, but the next one that will be here, hopefully within the next week or two, is their Red Sonja kit, and that's what's been on one of the things that's been on my workbench. I showed it off last week. I've got a little bit more work done, not too much, but just trying to get it done. But it's a really nice kit. I always like to speak well of the manufacturers that we represent, but I also am a real modeler. And if something frustrates the heck out of me, I'm going to let you guys know. The way that they did this hair, oh my goodness, it frustrated the heck out of me. Now, if I had to go back and build it again, I could do it better. But the hair comes in like, I don't know, like 6 or 7, maybe 8 pieces. And it was just very frustrating. Like I said, if I build another one, I will know what to expect. But Anthony, if you're going to get this kit, before you go cutting hair pieces out of the sprue, make sure you study it up and make sure you have a game plan, because if it weren't for that, I would be done with the kit by now. But anyway, they'll be here soon. Party time indeed, Frank. Yeah, going back to this crazy weather, that's about like it was here, man. Like really this morning, short sleeves, it was probably in the 60s here if I just had to guess, and it's starting to freeze out there now. So it's nuts. Let's see. Party at Frank's house. Good to see all you guys. Stephen, the Virginia Nationals is, well, let me look. We've got this new page on our website up here at the top. If you see the friends and shows link, this has the shows. This is not all the shows. This is the shows that we intend to go to each year. But the Nationals in Virginia is August 6th through the 9th. Now, if you want to see all of the shows, not just the ones that we go to, down here at the bottom on the left, that's the IPMS logo. You can follow that link to their website. They've got a list of all their shows. And this on the right is the AMPS, the Armor Modeling and Preservation Society. You can follow that link and you can see all of their shows that are around the country. And there are other organizations out there, but these are just the main two that we go to their shows. And perhaps sometime down the road, I will be able to link to all the other shows, regardless of if they're affiliated with these two clubs or not. But let's see. Hey, Kenneth, over in Blairsville. All right. Let's see. Give me just a second. All right. I got some weird stuff going on here tonight. Let's see. Oh, speaking of weird stuff. So I mentioned our weather, and the wind is going nuts out there. So if all of a sudden I disappear, I apologize in advance. The lights have flickered a few times, but the power has not gone out. But just going ahead and throwing that out there. And let's see. Recon says the paint is amazing. That's awesome. I'm glad you like it. I got to show you guys something. Bear with me just a minute while I get all this pulled up. All right. So Jeff just sent me something, and he probably was not expecting me to show you guys this, but I'm going to anyway. So in the next week, maybe next Wednesday night, if not next Wednesday night, definitely the one after, 2 weeks from now. But we've been talking about, a lot of you have been asking for our full color list of what colors we're going to have. And we originally said that we were going to have somewhere in the ballpark of about 180 colors. I don't remember exactly what we said, maybe 188, somewhere in there. And that was in addition, that was on top of Jeff's original line. He originally had like 140, maybe 150 colors. We immediately moved that up to about 180 something. And that was kind of to get our feet wet, so to speak. We in Georgia, Jeff knew what he was doing. We didn't. We've got there now. We know what we're doing. My wife is running the production and the bottling and the mixing of the colors and all that fun stuff. And she's kind of got a groove going. So I think we're safe to tell you now that our full color line of historical colors, that's primarily World War II. We do move into the modern stuff a little bit. A lot of you have been asking about our modern colors. Some of those you'll see in the in the new section of the website tonight. They're finally here. So, I mean, this is the aggressor gray. Here's your light ghost gray. So your modern aircraft colors are finally coming. Um, the You saw our black wash, and we talked about having more colors of washes. Those are finally done. This is the burnt umber. I know she was doing the white and some of the grays tonight. So those are finally coming down the line. Um, so all these things that we've been talking about are finally out, and finally coming. So the one thing that you've been asking for that we've not got done yet is the color chart. What colors are we going to have? And we kind of floated a color chart out that had the majority of what we already had in process working. Um, but there were more colors we wanted to do. And uh, it's been a work in progress, but either next Wednesday night or definitely the weekend after or the week after that, we'll be ready to share that full color chart with you. We've got it done. We're just kind of trying to compile it into such a format that we can perhaps print it. Maybe do a little folded thing. I don't know exactly, but we want to have it formatted to where we can show it, because it's a lot. It's actually close to 300 colors. So for you to be able to see that and understand it, heck, for us to understand it, we're just trying to format it in a way that we can show it to you. So that will be exciting, and that'll be coming. And the other thing uh, that you've been asking for, we don't have it yet, but just to go along with what I said earlier, bringing you guys along for the ride and letting you in on what we're working on. I have no idea when we'll be able to roll this out and get it ready, but one of the things that we are actively working on and trying to make work are our chrome and metallic colors, because we've got pretty much everything else you could possibly need to build historic model kits, with the exception of metallic colors. And when you're talking about World War II aircraft, that's kind of important. So that is something that Jeff is working on, and he has had a lot of, I don't know, test testings to do. A lot of good things, a lot of bad things, but we're just trying to make it to where it works with the same workflow as our current paints do. So anyway, this is what he just sent me this a little while ago. He's literally working on it as we speak. And these are just little test bottles. These are not the bottles they'll come in. They will come in the same bottles that we're using, but he's just got a whole bunch of old bottles that he doesn't need anymore. So that's what he uses for mixing new colors and testing. So he sent me this, and I think his exact quote, I don't know where it went. His exact quote was, let's see, "Let the games begin." So I guess for him to actually show me that and say that, he must have something that might work for us. So it's still going to be a little ways away, uh, because even if he were to tell me this evening after the show that they're ready, there's still a lot to do before we can bring them to market. But I just want to let you guys know that is in the works, and we have every intention of bringing those to market if we, at any possibility, that we can. So uh, that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it because I need some aluminum for a model kit like now, and I'm sure you guys do too. Let's see. Um, Jeremiah, any progress on the airbrush? Nothing too exciting. It's still in the works, but that's probably going to be a little ways down the road. Let's see. It looks like Jeff's answering a lot of your questions over in the chat, so I'm going to skip down a little bit and see what else we have before we jump over here into this show and tell, because we got a lot of stuff to look at. A fuzzy space kitty. I agree with what you're saying here. I'll give you one quick example, and then we'll jump over here and get this show and tell started. The the reason that we want to do kit specific sets is kind of from a sales perspective. I get phone calls and emails all the time. I had one this week actually. Hey, I just bought the Gerald R. Ford. What paint do I need? So doing a kit specific paint set makes it very easy for me to answer that question, or any of our other sales staff to answer that question when somebody calls up and asks what paint for a specific kit. Now, for what you're talking about, we're also going to do that same type of thing, like for the different measures for the different ship camouflage from World War II. We'll do, measure this, measure that, measure whatever number you need, because you might know exactly what camo measure that you need. And in that case, you just buy that set. And what you're talking about with different vehicles, we got all sorts of ideas of what we would like to do. It's just a matter of getting it done. We can do armor sets, we can do aircraft sets, we can do all that kind of stuff. But that's the reason behind starting with the kit specific paint sets, is because I'll just say perhaps a beginner modeler that doesn't know what he needs. All he knows is that he just bought a P-51, or he bought a B-17 with Memphis Belle on it. And if we can have a paint set that says this paint for this kit, makes it easy for somebody that doesn't know yet to jump right in and get started. But again, the Gerald R. Ford set, that is one of the first of many paint sets. So don't worry, the sky's the limit, and we'll just have to see how it goes and make it up as we go. And we'll have all sorts of paint set SKUs in the site before long. I'm very sure of it. All right, we are going to jump over here into the show and tell. So we got a lot of stuff tonight, and hopefully everything works like it's supposed to be working. And I figured, why not start off with an image of the one that was on the thumbnail of the show tonight. So this is from Alien 3. And it's about 1/6 scale. Tom Gaston built this, and he says this is a very old kit out of production. And this model is actually on display in our store. So he told me what the name brand was, and I wrote it down, and then I left that paper at my shop. So forgive me, Tom, but it was a very funky name that I had never heard of, and he laughed when he told me and said, good luck finding it. So must be a rare kit, but he did a really nice job on this thing. All right, and next is also Tom Gaston, and on that same piece of paper that I left at the shop, told me exactly which hind this was. So we will leave it at, it is a 48 scale hind. And in fact, he likes building hinds. He's done a lot of them, and he forgot specifically which exact variant and version this one was. Anyway, but nonetheless, it's a fantastic job on a 48 scale hind. And that is going to wrap up Tom Gaston's kits for tonight. So thank you, Tom, for letting us show those off. Moving on, we've got Mark Curtis. He's got 5 ships in this picture, and he's kind of laid out exactly what these all are. If you want to take a look there real quick, all sorts of fun stuff going on here. And I believe the subject of his email included something to the effect of, do you mind some waterline? And I don't mind waterline at all. In 700 scale, that's pretty common. And all right, so these look really good. Yeah, waterline 700 scale, you can do a lot because there are so many kits out there that have been produced. Not only plastic kits, but resin kits. For years and years and years, the resin guys, they were making all sorts of really unique things. And, fast forward to today, 3D resin is kind of taking over traditional resin, but same thing in 700 scale. These ships are so small, you can just do so many of them and put a ton of them in a small space. All right, so moving on next, we've got Chris Reiner, and he's got 2 kits here to show us. This is the 1833 Hamilton class revenue cutter, the Roger B. Taney. And then coming up here in a minute on another slide, he's got a Coast Guard cutter that we'll take a look at. So let's see what Chris has got. Nice first picture here. And you got to imagine how small that is in 700 scale, by the way, guys. Very, very tiny. All right, and here's his cutter. All right. Very nice, Chris. Thank you for sending those in. And next we have David Sanchez, and I have no idea why the picture is not the correct layout. But anyway, this is a Tamiya Panzer 1 in 35th scale, and we'll move on so we can see a better picture of it. There we go. Nice job on that. Those tanks are just so small. They always intrigue me when you see them, and you got the guy riding on the top, and he just always looks so huge compared to the tank. Nice job on this for sure. All right. Good deal. Thank you for sending that one in. And this up next, we've got Mark. And he says this is his first attempt at model kit building in over 20 years. Says he's still working on his weathering techniques, and he's got a 35th scale M3 half track from Tamiya. And a couple of slides later, you will see his 35th scale Kugelwagen. So let's check these out. I would say that is pretty dang good for first time in 20 years. I'd say it's pretty dang good for first time since yesterday. This is awesome. Looks very, very nice. Nice diorama base there as well. Yeah, good job, man. Keep going. And this is his accurate miniatures. I think it was a 48 scale P51A, if I remember correctly. I don't know why I didn't put that description at the front of this slide. And here's that Kugelwagen. And styrofoam, plaster, learning how to paint figures. Well, I think you're doing a pretty good job on that as well. Very nice. All right. Let's see. Oh, there I am. And this program that I use for streaming, I did not know until like 5 minutes before the show started. Well, maybe 10. I logged in and it's a completely new layout. They've changed everything. It works the same for the most part, but there's a few things that are kind of freaking me out. Like when this happens, but whatever. All right, up next, we've got Chris Fish, and he has sent in several kits. And this is kind of a rundown of what we're about to see in this order. Some Churchills, some Shermans, an M60, A1, and the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, which I say HIMARS. I guess that's right. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but anyway, let's check this stuff out. So up first is one of his Churchill's AFV Club kit. And I always love seeing these with those. Have you seen their carpet version? AFV Club makes this. So they're very neat. They've got a few different variants of this this same type of setup. So and there's another one. This is also AFV Club. Moving on to his Sherman from Asuka. Alrighty. And he's got yet another Sherman. This one is also from Asuka. Love all his bags he's got on there. All right, now he is shifting gears a little bit, going a little smaller. This is 72 scale, his M60A1 from Desert Storm. So those first kits we were looking at, of course, were 35th scale. I may have forgot to say that, but this is 72 scale. And then his last kit, that HIMARS kit, is also 72 scale. And he mentioned in his email that he was very impressed with this kit. Kit's from 4Art. But he really liked it, and I think it turned out really nice. So thank you for sending those in. I appreciate it. They look great. All right, moving down the line, we've got Ron Smith. This is his 48 scale Albatross D3. And he's told us a little bit about the paints that he's used and the rigging that he used, some music wire. So I was able to see this before we got started, so it looks great. Let's check it out. Yeah, and that wood grain effect that you did, that's pretty sweet. He said he painted that. Looks like wood to me. Yeah, this looks good. Very, very cool, Ron. We got this last look at it real quick before we go to the next slide. But great job indeed. Nice, tight rigging there. Very, very good. All right, moving down to Rob Weilacher. He has built a 700 scale USS West Virginia, 1944 fit. We've got one view at this, so check it out real quick. This is great, Rob. I appreciate you sending this in. It's really kind of weird to me because one of the last 700 scale battleships, well, not battleships, one of the last 700 scale kits that I built and finished was this exact kit. And I don't know where the picture is, but I have a picture of it sitting on a green cutting board like that in that exact same view. So when you sent the picture, the first thing I thought was, hey, that's my kit. But nope, it's yours, and yours looks way better than mine did, for sure. But it's funny how that brought back some memories of me building this kit a couple of years ago. But that looks great, Rob. Thank you for sending that. All right, next up we've got Ben Kimsey. He built the Border Models Red Alert Kirov airship model kit, and I love this. I've got one of these. I want to build it. I've not done it yet, and this, I think, is the first one of them I've seen built up. So got to get this thing going. I love the game, if you couldn't tell by my intro music. And here's another view of it. It comes with this crazy huge display base, but I guess the reason it's so big is if you look down at the bottom of it, it's got those switches, and the switches turn lights on and off, and it turns the props on and off. They actually spin. So I guess that base houses batteries and wires that run up through there and everything. So when you first see the base, you know, I thought, wow, that base is kind of overkill. But then when I realized that it actually serves a purpose, I'm like, okay, that's fine. But it's very cool. Very cool. So thank you, Ben. I appreciate you showing that off. Yeah, Ben, he comes up. He worked with us in LJ, and he comes up from time to time when we need a little extra help up here. And when these kits came out, he saw it and he's like, I got to have one of those. I mean, he wasn't really even a model builder, but I guess he is now. So very cool. Thank you for showing that, Ben. And there I go, being small again. All right. That gets us about halfway through tonight. See, we got a lot of pictures to look at. So next we've got our buddy Jay Banks Haley, and he has done this AMT kit conversion. It's a 7740 Econoline Coca-Cola van, and he has converted it to a salt and pepper shaker holder. So that's those things in the top. That's your salt and pepper shakers, and he converted the kit to where it'll hold them. So I think that's kind of cool. Kind of a unique use for a model kit. But pretty neat. I mean, look at the front left wheel. It's not there. It's sitting on blocks. So it's really neat. And look at the windshield, the weathering on that, and the way wash me. Yeah, we'll go back one. Yeah, look at the back window. Just very, very unique and an awesome way. I hope that you have that in the middle of your dinner table holding the salt and pepper shakers, because that'd be pretty cool. And all of a sudden, everybody is thinking about what model kit they could build to hold a salt and pepper shaker on their dinner table. All right. Well, thank you for sending that in. That is very unique and a extremely interesting use of a model kit for sure. And next up, same builder. He's got a 1/46th scale Atlantis kit of a P-36, the Airacobra. And Atlantis models, as many of you probably know, they have purchased the old molds from various companies. This one in particular is from Revell, and this is one of their old 1955 molds. All right. Very, very cool. Thank you for sharing this very awesome, very old mold of a P-39. Moving right along, he's also sent us this 72 scale Nashorn. And as you can see here in his description, he said the side grill is photo etch, and he said this particular kit from Dragon, this is one of their premium kits. He said it's got more detail in it out of the box than some larger kits that he's done. So very cool job on this. And sometimes these pictures, when you look at them this way, you can't tell just how small of a scale these things are. But 72 scale kit like this with that much detail, you did a fine job on it. So great job. And yeah, a minute ago, his that was a P-39 the way. All right, so this is his last one of the night. This is a little bit different, but very cool anyway. 72 scale from Revell monogram. This is the Babylon 5 Star Fury kit. Very, very neat. Thank you for sharing that. We don't get too many starships on here, so happy to see that for sure. All right, next up we've got Daniel Covey, and he's done this 48 scale D3. And I'll just say that you are my hero tonight, because those decals, I have always wanted to do one of these, but those decals scare the heck out of me. But you've done a pretty fantastic job. I love the color scheme on this. It's funny as Jeff and I are going through some of these monster colors and these sci-fi colors that we've been talking about and working on, just coming up with these crazy and wacky names, and I'm trying to get him to do these wild, bright colors like this. And of course he likes the more historical colors. So we make a good team together. I'll say it that way. But my point is, I love these kind of color schemes when you can mix bright, wild colors and you can mix that with something that's actually historically accurate. It's just cool. So love these old planes. Love your model. You did a great job on it, and very, very cool. All right. Oh, looks like my brother's joined us. Hey, Jared. Good to see you. All right. So John Lydell. Now this one, so you guys know, I am going to, from time to time, pull in models from our Facebook Squadron group, the Squadron Club on Facebook. You guys have been really enjoying that group. I've been enjoying it. It's really great that it's taken off like it has. But you guys have started to share some of your build pictures, some of your in progress pictures, giving tips back and forth, showing your progress. I love that. But when you end up finalizing your kit and you post the finished pictures there, I might, if we have enough space in the slides for the show and tell, I might pull them over here. And that's just what's happened here. So this is his USS Texas 350th scale trumpeter kit. And yeah, let's take a look at this thing. Very nice job on that, my friend. And his last picture that I've got here is pretty neat. It's the kit sitting on his display shelf along with several other kits that he has built. So perhaps we'll get to see some more of his collection up close in future shows. But those are great. Thank you for posting those over on the Squadron Club on Facebook. And this one is also from our Facebook club. This is Paul Dockery. And Paul was one of our real good friends and customers when we were over in Blue Ridge. So we got to see him a lot when we were over there. And we get to see him from time to time still, mostly when we go to shows. And he always shows up with something cool. And this is going to be no exception. I hope we get to see this next weekend, Paul, in Marietta. But the thing that was always interesting to me about Paul is he would find an old picture that he thought was interesting, and then he would try to build a diorama in model kit form, usually in 1/35th scale, based on that picture that he liked. And so this is his latest, and it's very, very cool and interesting, and I can't wait to see it in person. So great job, Paul. All right, this is Eric Coda. He also posted this on our Facebook club. He is the guy from Ace of Spades Model Works, who you may remember me mentioning a few weeks ago. We are sponsoring we're one of the sponsors, sponsoring their current online build competition called The Heavies. It's a heavy bombers only model contest that's currently running. So if you're interested in that, check out Ace of Spades Model Works on Facebook. And we've got a link to them on our website at the Friends and Shows page as well. Anyway, this is his 48 scale F-86 that he has done. And you may have already read it by now, but he says he specifically built it as an A variant because basically he wanted to. And so let's check this out. This is a really nice kit. And let's see what he's done. When I see pictures like this, it makes me realize I need to get better at taking pictures of my own kits. And his model is fantastic, but on that pure white background with the shadows, just really makes the whole presentation here look nice. So great job, buddy. And if you want to see more pictures of this, he posted about 75 pictures of it on our Squadron Club Facebook group. Yeah, Ken says like the helmet sitting there. Yep, little details like that are cool to me. So this is the last picture for tonight of this, but again, he's got like 75 pictures of this thing on our Facebook group, so check that out if you're interested. And moving right along, we've got Derek Liker. He has done this B-26. He was talking about this last week when we were talking about 144 scale kits. And, 144 scale, a lot of times you might think it's really small, and it can be. But some of the bigger, B-36 and 144 scale from Rodin, that's a pretty good sized kit. But this B-26, it's not small, it's not huge. But Derek found this very interesting paint scheme that he liked on it, and that's what he decided to go with. And it worked out pretty good. I really like this. I love it. I guess I'm going to talk about photography tonight, but I love how he did this picture with that background. Just very cool presentation of a model photograph here. And keep in mind, this is 144 scale. So this is roughly half the size of a 72 scale B-26. All right, and we got this last view of it here. Yeah, Steven says, looks like a larger scale, and that happens a lot, like I was talking about a minute ago with the 72 scale Nashorn. A lot of times these pictures make these things, they're very nice looking, but you just don't realize how small that really is. And if you were to see it in person, you're like, wow, that's really small. A lot of detail for something so small. Oh, we had one more picture of it. Okay. Very cool. Well, thank you for sending that in. And this is Kimberly Wertz. This is her kit for tonight. This is a 2.5 ton cargo truck from Tamiya, but she did it as a civilian version. And we've got 2 pictures of this. So here's the front view that you're seeing now. And here's the full view of it. So that's a very interesting take on that particular kit. Of course, a lot of us have probably seen a version of this built up several different ways in military service, but I don't know if I've seen one done up this way. So this is very neat, very unique. So great job on that, Kimberly. Thank you for sharing that. Very nice job. All right, Ricky has sent us a 48 scale. This is also a Tamiya kit, the 48 scale Tamiya kit, though. This is a German utility truck. A couple of shots of this one here. Got him a nice load in the back there, some barrels and other things. There we go. Yeah, 48 scale vehicles have always been intriguing to me because there's not that many of them out there. Of course, Tamiya they have a lot, and Hobby Boss has a lot, and there's other ones from various brands, but it's very cool because it fits right along with all of the aircraft that's in 48 scale, and you got Mini Art out doing 48 scale diorama stuff now that they've started doing. So I don't know. We may see 48 scale vehicles and figures and diorama type stuff take off a little bit more in the future. 72 scale has always been kind of the all-purpose diorama scale, because you've got vehicles, you've got figures, you've got aircraft. To some extent, you've even got ships in that scale. Perhaps 48 scale will be the new all-purpose scale at some point soon. All right. He's also got us a Hasegawa kit of a 72 scale Tiger Shark. Very nice build here. Yeah, Jeff, that's a good point. You can build them faster than a 35th scale kit, but get more detail than a 72 scale kit. Oh, Chip's mentioning the old Bandai 48 scale vehicles. I forgot about those. They had some old tanks and stuff. '56th scale. Yeah, there's a lot of gaming skills for sure. All right, that was the last slide in that set. So let me pull up we've got one more set of slides. Looks like 39 more pictures to go. So let's see what we've got next. This is Todd. He's got a 48 scale special hobby kit, a J3. And he built this plane, and the pilot figure in the plane is his father. And he said he flew J3 Pipers just before Pearl Harbor. And he said this particular model depicts a flight that his father made on December 1st, 1941. And he said he flew the Piper Cub down Elm Street in West Springfield, Massachusetts, under the canopy of huge elm trees, while waving to his wife, Todd's mother, who was on the front porch hanging her laundry. He said his father got away with this dangerous prank because he was chief of police. His father was. So, interesting story. Always cool to build a model kit specifically having something to do with history, but even more so when it specifically has something to do with something in your family directly. So very cool. Very nice kit. And there's his dad with his eyes wide open, trying not to wreck being that low to the ground, I guess. So very cool. I think you captured his facial expressions perfectly for this daring move, as you said. So very nice build. Thank you for sharing that with us this evening. All right, and next we've got James Alsop has sent me these. He says these were not something he built, but rather something his uncle built back in the early 1950s. He says the copyright on these particular kits are 1952. And he says that they were designed to be pulled with a string, and the driver would move up and down as the car was being pulled. So some, really, really old school model kits here. Very interesting. Can't say that I've ever seen anything like this. So thank you for sending these in that your uncle built. Glad you still have these all these years later. Very neat. All right. Will Dossel has a 72 scale Matchbox Buckeye. And this one, I believe, was also on the Facebook group. So let's check this thing out. Nice job on this. Displayed on a clear base, so it's in flight. Very cool. Yeah, Matt says, don't see many Matchbox kits. That is true. But this is cool, and you did a great job on this, so thank you for sharing it. All right, next up we've got Howard, and this is a pretty interesting one here. This is a D3, but as you can see, it has wrecked or crashed, and 1918 on the Western Front. And this is just he posted this on the Facebook group, and I really wanted to show you guys because it's really neat. The whole scene, the way he's done this is just very nicely done. So and you can see with all the wood flying and the pilot is in there, this is not a diorama of a wreck that just happened. It is a wreck that is in process of happening. So it's just very cool. Oh, yeah. Ken just said the same thing. Looks like it's in the process of crashing. And yeah, it is. He's still in there flying, and just very cool. I thought it was very interesting. So thank you for posting that up on the group. All right, and this is Frederick. This is a 48 scale Academy kit of a Wildcat, an F4F4. Pretty interesting. I love it when these kits are modeled this way with the wings folded. You see it from time to time, but usually you've got the wings out. So this just gives a different view of these things than we normally see on a model kit. So all right. Well, great job on that one. Again, thank you for posting that. Next, we will move to Jim, and he posted this in the group a couple of weeks ago, and this is a 350th scale USS Forrestal. It is a 3D printed model that comes in several pieces that have to be put together, but he did a fantastic job on this, so I had to show you guys. And look at that. Just a lot of work went into this, so very, very nice. This is the last look at this one before we move along. But yeah, you did a really good job on this. That's a lot of aircraft. So very, very nice. Thank you for sharing that with the group. All right, this is Randy Harvey. This is a kit that he said he built for the Kit Maker Network a while back, Revell kit, a 25 scale Chevy Impala. But he did it for a themed group, a apocalypse themed group. So an interesting take on this. Very neat. Cool. Thank you for sharing that one. All right. And next we've got Jeff and he's got 2 kits for us to look at. I think that's going to bring us to an end of the show and tell for the night, but we got a few pictures to look at first. So let's check this out. This is 32 scale trumpeter kit, Sky Raider, 81 Sky Raider. Of course, painted with his own paint. The Squadron scale colors. Now, one thing that I will have to point out here, it might be the next. Oh, it's the next one. Not this kit, it's his next kit. Hold that thought. Let's look at this first. These are always very mean looking planes to me. With all that loadout down there, it's just very cool. Calamity Jane. Yeah, it's a nice job on this one, Jeff. You got this one last look at it here. You get a good glimpse of the interior here that he's done. Very nice job. So moving on to Jeff's other kit, a KI-61, and this is our last group of pictures to look at for the evening. But this one, what I was going to say a minute ago, but it was this kit instead. He masked everything off and sprayed everything on this. The only decals is the 83, which you'll see on the tail in the next picture. But so all this is, all the red insignias there that's paint, that's not decals. And he used scale colors, of course, but this is obviously before he even started testing the metallic colors for what we've got cooking now. So he used Alclad lacquer for the metallics on this. Very, very nice. Got one more picture of it to look at, guys. So take it in, and that'll be all the show and tell until next month. So very, very cool. Thank you for sharing those, Jeff. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your model kits with us this evening. We'll do show and tell again next month. I guess we'll do it on... Will we do it on June 2? I guess we'll do it on June 2. Not June. What am I talking about? April 2. Yeah. April the 2nd will be our next show and tell. So get some stuff done. I hope to get something done. You know, I hadn't I haven't finished a model in a while. Um, the big guy back there, I don't know if I'll ever get him done at this point. It's become a running joke at the shop and in my own household. My oldest son likes to joke me now about my Dora model not getting finished, but whatever. One of these days I'm going to surprise you guys. But I got Red Sonja here, and I've got this little guy. I decided I wanted to do something small that I can actually perhaps finish. So decided to do a little Hulk. We have all these different scale colors, greens. I said, hey, I need something green, and you'll see this in the full color chart in the Universal series, the regular colors: red, blue, green, yellow, orange, all that. We've got the rest of the colors of the rainbow, which, indigo and violet. So we started testing around with different colors with that. And I needed something. What can I paint with a bunch of different greens and purples? I figured Hulk fit the bill. So the other thing that's interesting about this base, it's like concrete, and he's holding a little rock. I used one of our Squadron paints. I don't know, some German gray probably. But I didn't airbrush it. I decided, we tell everybody that these paints can't really be used with a paintbrush. And that is true to some extent. But this, if you can see the rock, if this will focus, it's not going to focus. It's really a rough texture. If you can imagine, Hulk pulled this rock up out of the concrete. So it's really rough. So I just had a big brush and I just brushed it on there. It worked perfect for me for that. Now you wouldn't want to, I tried painting him the smooth skin, not the same effect, but on a rough base. So I can imagine diorama bases and rocks and rubble, stuff works good. It's kind of like a wash almost, because the paint is so thin. So again, play around with it. Like somebody at the beginning of the show said, build models the way you want to build them. If you're like me, you have a huge amount of tools and paints and tools and all sorts of stuff. Use them and try new things. You never know. You might have had something sitting in your workbench for years. Try using it a different way. You never know what's going to work for you. And you just might come up with something that you like. So one other thing that I'll mention, and then I will let you guys go for the evening. The 1/6 scale Memphis Belle, I mentioned last week that we were finally ready to start taking orders for them, and we have. But last week, I did not have one of the resin castings to show you. I've got those here now. So this is the Memphis Belle. I guess that's the view that we're used to for Memphis Belle. But this is how big 1/6 scale is for a figure like this. She comes with the display base like this, and a little stand for her telephone, little gate, I guess it is, and her little stool that she sits on like this. So I've had several emails asking what exactly this includes. It's not a plastic kit. This is not a traditional model kit. So we'll have some pictures of the parts breakdown for you to see soon, next to a tape measure or something, just to give you an idea, because this is a kind of a unique product. It's a very limited type of thing. But that's just a little bit of information for you on that. I didn't send an email this week. Didn't even send one at the end of last week. Just hadn't really had that much to talk about. You've heard me mention from time to time, sometimes we get into the calm before the storm, and that's kind of where we are right now. We've got a couple of big shipments that are due in the next week or two. that's the storm. Right now is the calm. So we have been taking this opportunity to, my wife's knocking new paint colors out. I've been getting the catalog finished up, and it's almost ready to go. Hopefully by this time next week, I'll be saying it's done. Jeff's been playing around with metallic colors. So we've got a lot of things that we've been able to focus on this past week or two, just because, all of our inbound shipments are being held up as they always do. But we got a lot of good stuff coming in here in the next week or two. Those Horton, the Tacom Horton kits will finally be here. I'm very excited myself to see those. All sorts of fun stuff will be here. So I'll have more information on that next week as far as what exactly will be here, because I should know by then. So that's going to wrap us up for this evening, guys. I appreciate you all hanging out with me this evening. I hope you had a good time. I did. Had a lot of good models to look at. So you guys go build some more models, and let's take another look next month and see what all we can come up with for show and tell then. So y'all take it easy. Drop me an email. Come to the model show next weekend in Marietta. Look forward to seeing you there. And y'all have a good evening. Take it easy.